the greatest launch titles that I've ever seen for the Sega Saturn or any console period would have to be Panzer Dragoon. And it's probably my favorite game on the Sega Saturn of all time. I know some of you are going to be like, oh yeah, no, it's just so much better. But no, it can't stand up to the awesomeness that's Panzer Dragoon. It's just, it's a rail shooter along the lines of House of the Dead, only you fly a dragon and blow crap up. Can it get any freaking better? And on top of that, it's just so polished, and it has the best cutscene quality of any game from 1995 that I've seen. And this is after playing Star Wars, Rebel, whatever it is, 2, and whatnot. And also Sega CD games, which suck. And it's just, it tells a story unlike any other, even though I can't describe it at all. And it's just so good, it's uncommon to find anything this good on a Sega Saturn. And you basically just, the dragon comes to you, and it's just really confusing thing, but mainly I just want to get into the game and show you how it works. You basically start off on episode 1, and you're in sort of like an ocean-like area, flying your dragon. And the graphics are phenomenal. Excuse the lines, I'm playing this off of a TV. And you're shooting things, and there's a little bit of clipping later on, but it's also, it's not too difficult. It's mainly just a really fun game. Let's just watch this. The variety in the enemies for the first level is pretty uncommon in a game like this. Generally, you're always fighting the same zombie over and over again, or something, and there's tons of different enemies. And it's not overly frustrating, but it's more of extremely fun. And the controls, while inverted, if you don't like inverted, you might not like this, are extremely responsive and fun, and you shoot pressing the A button. And if you hold it down, you can lock onto things. I'll give you an example of that soon. I'll give an example of that sooner or later. Now I'm just trying to get through this. And there's water effects, and things are falling over, and the game's just so active. It's just, you don't find anything like this nowadays. You don't. In fact, I can't remember the last time I played a rail shooter other than House that 2 and 3 that took a hit there. And it's just a really good game. Let's just watch this for a second. There we go. There's a lock-on feature. It's probably similar to that of, I'd have to say, Star Fox 64, although I believe this predated it by like 2-3 years. But they look very similar. I say it's it puts the Saturn's 2 graphics processors to well use. Taking hits from something there. The clip-in is mild, but it's expected due to the fact that this game is really old, and well, there's games with worse clipping nowadays. Like I think there's some in BioShock, and you know, it's phenomenal. I really enjoy playing this game and its sequel. Now, some of you out there might be saying, "What about Panzer Dragoon Saga?" I'll get to that at a later date, because today I'm just blowing crap up. Now here we get to the second part of the level, which involves a boss fight and going through some tunnel. Oh crap, I'm dying. And it's just, it gets a little strange here. It gets a little bit darker. A lot of the levels proceed like this, except somewhere you're on the ground, somewhere you're not. It's phenomenal. I know I'm using that word a lot, but it's not an understate. You can't understate this game at all. It was developed by Team Andromeda at Sega, and they disbanded after creating the sequel in Panzer Dragoon Saga, which is quite sad because I'd be willing to see a remake of this game anytime soon. You can see a clear example of the water effects in this game right there. Quite impressive for 1995. And here's the first boss. I'm just gonna go through that. There's plenty of action on screen. Things are moving around. There's explosions. You deal damage by shooting the ship, which is pretty common for games like this. And it's basically your standard 2D game in 3D. It's, you know, blow crap up and whatnot. It's quite enjoyable, actually. Feels like a flight game almost, but I know it's not. Where this game really gets me is after the first boss, where the second level, you're in a desert area in the second level, and I just die every time. So I'll only be showing you the first level. But other than that, this game is a pretty solid game. And I have to say, it really shows off the Saturn's hardware capabilities for a launch title, seeing as how difficult it was to program this game. Yeah. Blow up that ship. It's sooner or later, the game really picks up even more than it does now. And I'm really not that great at this game, but it also has good sound, which I've cut out for my review. It has great music. If you want to listen to music, you can just pop the CD in your CD player and listen to it. And you can change the camera angle by pressing left and right triggers on your Saturn controller. Of course, I'm using a third-party controller. Not with Turbo, though, because Turbo is definitely cheating. And we're almost done here. It's your pretty standard rail shooter, but I think it's of the highest quality. I really do. There we go, that's the end of the first level. There we go, fly into the distance. Episode 1 completed, yay! Look at that hit percent. Eyes up. And here's Panzer Dragoon 2's Y, which is slightly of higher graphical quality, but not quite up to the standards of the first game set. It's more of the same, but it's just the game is a little bit darker, and you play a new dragon. It has a completely different story, and I still can't understand the story of this game even more than the first. But it starts out with destiny. I want to know what that means. Can anyone tell me what that means? And you're basically just going through on foot this time, blowing crap up. It's definitely a lot easier than the first Panzer Dragoon, but it's definitely a lot more tiring. I can't say I like it nearly as much as I liked the first game. It's definitely not as good. So, I'm just gonna play this for a little while. And thank you for watching my video. I'm Chris Haller signing out with Panzer Dragoon. Here's a little bit more gameplay. Thanks.